Some say Chinese is one of the most difficult languages in the world, and learning it is almost impossible.
So learning Chinese, the most difficult thing.
非常非常非常非常非常难
So I'm sort of tone deaf. I can't really hear them.
I think the cultural mindset is the biggest complication for
The
us.
grammar.
知吃思诗都还难
It's just complicated so much.
Only because you're not learning it in the right way. Why not try Takeaway Chinese, where you can take some Chinese away and experience progress day by day. Takeaway Chinese, we will promise you a difference.
你好，欢迎收听随行汉语 Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin with Mr. Tony Reed here in the studio. Hi, Tony.
New, it's a pleasure to be here learning more Chinese. What do you got to teach me today?
I gotta teach you something really fun, but I'll start with a funny joke.
All right.
Do you know that 60% of a human body is made of water?
60%? That's it? I thought it was more.
Yeah, I mean, at least.
Okay.
So we can roughly say that a human body is made of water, right?
Okay.
What does a Chinese human body made of?
A Chinese human body is made of...
Hot water.
Of course. Of course.
You like that joke? I think it's a funny joke because we say 人是水做的, so people are made of water. 中国人, Chinese people, 是热水做的, are made of hot water because we drink hot water,
All
we
the
ask
time.
for hot water. It's a thing.
There's no cold water. It's always hot water. If you're feeling sick, drink hot water.
Yeah. So hot water. I think it's a funny joke. I like it. So I want to share it with you. And from that joke, you might, smart audience might already guessed that this episode is going to be about water, 水.
水.
Because even though 水, the Chinese character is water, it can actually be used in many other scenarios. And it can mean other things when you put it in a word, when you put it in a sentence. And I think it's a funny example of how the Chinese language can be very colorful.
Yeah, colorful and complicated. Because
Complicated,
depending,
for sure.
depending on the tone, they could have different meanings.
Yes.
And I tend to always get them wrong.
It's all right. I will one day persuade you to start learning the characters. More than just the pinyin and pronunciation.
Yes.
And that day will come and I will be very happy about that day.
Yeah.
So for our dear listeners, if you are interested in Chinese culture and you want to get a grips with the Chinese language, then this is the show for you. Stick with us for 30 minutes and you soon see the rewards. And for more fun Chinese learning, follow our Facebook page, CRI Learn Chinese, to watch many fun videos and live streams. But now, let's provide you with some free Chinese for takeaway. 这是我写的节约用水活动的策划，请过目。这也太水了，你改一改吧，只要干货。好的。那我回去修改一下。
So this sounds like something needs to be revised.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you make a plan to do something and
to make it better.
Sounds good, but maybe the specifics are a little bit flaky or cloudy, rather.
Cloudy, yes. Cloudy is a good word. See, that's the thing. Even though it's a thing in, I would say, any language, that is, if there is a concrete object in the actual world and you use it as the object, of course, but with an analogy that's been used very, very often, gradually this word started to mean different things, just like cloudy. Cloud, we know what cloud is, but to use cloudy to describe something that is a little bit ambiguous, it's the same thing with water, and you will see in the conversation. So let's start with the first sentence.
All right.
这是我写的节约用水活动的策划，请过目。
So this is my plan for saving water or an activity. Please have a look.
Yes.
Yeah. So 只是 is this, 我, this is like my. 写, 写 is kind of like something that's written, right?
Yes, so 写 would be write. So we can say 写字,
okay.
write a character.
But here it says 写的节约用水, right?
It's complicated. Okay,
Right.
so if you want to shorten the sentence, you would short it as 这是策划. So this is a plan. That's the, I would say, trunk of the sentence. That's the main structure of the sentence.
Yeah.
And then you make it more specific. So, 这是我写的策划. I 写的 written. So this is a plan that I wrote. So this is the plan written by me. 这是我写的策划. 这是我写的活动策划. This is a plan that is written by me about activities.
Yeah,
that's
活动
the
is
活动
activity,
there.
right?
And then you put in the 节约用水. That's basically the theme of the activity. So 我写的 here is a word you use to describe 活动, the activity, or to describe 策划, the plan. So a plan that written by me. So yes.
So just breaking it down here. So 我写的, so my written.
My written.
My written something.
Yes.
And then 节约用水, this is an expression meaning like water saving. Yeah?
Water saving. So 节约 is save.
Yeah.
And 用水 is use water.
Okay.
So literally speaking, it will be save, use water. So it's like conserve water or
Yeah. Save water usage.
yes,
Right. And then after that, you have 活动, which means activity.
activity,
And
活动.
then 的, this is like an activity of, or, and then 策划. So this is kind of like plan.
Yes.
计划 is, I've heard plan.
Yes, 计划 is also plan, but to start with, 计划 is rather more colloquial. You can say 我计划这周去看电影. I plan to go
Watch a movie,
watch
right?
a movie this week. 我计划这周去看电影. But 策划, you use it for, let's say, bigger stuff. You use it for more official stuff. If you are planning an activity and you need different steps of things you want to do, you need to allocate people for different responsibility. You need to have a concrete plan, documented plan.
Okay.
Then that is 策划.
So a documented plan of activity or action.
Yes, 策划.
策划. And then 请过目. So 请 is please, right?
请 is please.
And then 过目, this is like look at something, right?
Yes, 过目 would be have a look, but 请过目 putting together is more of a set phrase. It's very polite. You use it in work environment, in business settings, and you say 请过目, please have a look.
Okay.
请过目. And mostly you use it for people who are your bosses, who are rather superior in a way. So you're being very polite. 请过目, please have a look.
I see. But so you wouldn't say this to like a normal standard colleague?
No.
请过目?
No, it's just too polite.
Or just 过目?
Does not work like that. Have to put them together.
Okay. I see. All right.
And then we have the sentence, 这也太水了，你改一改吧，只要干货.
So this is not good enough, right? Would you be able to make some changes? Real deals only, right?
You've got it really good because this is the complicated part of the conversation of the sentences. Because here we introduce another way to use the character 水 in the Chinese language. We use it rather figuratively. You can imagine, for example, if you have a bowl of cereal and you like the cereal very much, but if you put in too much water or milk, it'll be a bit too watery. Do you say it like that?
Yeah, you could say watery or
A little bit watery.
Yeah.
And imagine the bowl of cereal is not a bowl of cereal, but an article. The cereal itself would be the real content, the things you really want to know about. For example, if this is a plan, you want to know how many people are involved, you want to know what are the steps of the activity, you want to know how much money you spend. But once this bowl of cereal, which is the passage now, which is the plan, is too watery. You have too many flourish wording. You're describing how important it will be. You're describing how influential it will be once the activities are held. It's just not good enough.
That was a really long explanation.
I know, but that's the beauty of languages. Sometimes you don't have a exact word related to or just like exact translation, but you understand what I'm talking about now.
Well, yeah, I think the closest approximate here, because we have 知, which is 知也, like this, right? And then 太水了, this is like a lot of water, right? But
yes.
In English, we could just say it's wishy-washy.
Wishy-washy.
Yeah,
funny.
which implies water, but also it means something that's not very stable, something that's kind of it's not stable, it's not safe. You know, it's something that it's like a temporary, or it may kind of dodgy.
Can you use it to describe articles, to describe
like a contract or something that you need to read and make sure that it's accurate, but it's a bit wishy-washy. It's like, yeah, something that's not in fact and not really stable.
Not to the point.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
So
I like that.
Wishy-washy. I think it kind of works.
Yes.
In this context.
Because when we describe things that are not to the point, that are circling around the point too much, in Chinese we would also say 水. And also you can kind of understand it as it's just too lame. It's just not the real deal. You need to show me the content, show me the gold, show me where the money lands. A little bit like that.
Okay.
So yeah. Oh, and also if you think about it in English, if you say this is a diluted article, it's also saying it's not concentrated enough, right? And that is where the analogy connects, I think.
Yeah.
Anything that is too watery would imply it's not concentrated enough.
Yeah, I agree.
So 这也太水了.
And then next up you have 你改一改吧.
你改一改吧.
So this is you 改一改. This is like make changes, right?
Yes, make a little bit of change.
Right.
We have that. Do you remember if you want to say take a look at something, you can say 看一看.
看一看,
And if you
right.
want to say listen to something, have a little listen to something.
Oh, listen. I should know this. How do we say listen again?
听.
I knew that. Okay. So 听一听吧.
听一听. And also we can say, oh, in the beginning, we've talked about the character 写.
写.
Yeah. So you can actually also say 写一写. 我来写一写. So, for example, if you're asked to write a passage and you don't really have a very specific idea about it, and you need to write it down a little bit to let's
just
say
write something down.
Yes, arrange your thoughts and make sure you can actually have a passage later. Then you would say 我先写一写. Allow me to let's say organize my thought by write a little bit.
Brainstorming, huh?
Brainstorming in the form of writing my thoughts down.
Chicken scratch. Okay, got
Chicken
it.
scratch. See, I love it when you can always provide me with a English equivalent of these really hard to describe words and expressions.
Yeah, it's funny how sometimes there are a lot of similarities and you don't really know it until you pull it out.
Yeah. So here, 你改一改吧. Would you make some changes?
And ba is kind of like it's like you're asking someone to do something, right?
Yeah.
Or sometimes telling someone to do something, right?
In this case, for sure.
只要干货. So 只要. So this is only like want. Want is 要 and 只 is only, right?
Yes. So 只要, in this case, it is used as I only want this. So, for example, if you are ordering for dinner, you can say 我只要蔬菜. I only want vegetables. So that is only want. But the word 只要 can also be used as a very important structure of a kind of sentence. So you say 只要不下雨我就来. It means as long as it does not rain, I will come. So as long as or only want, two ways of using this word.
I think only want is easiest for me.
It is easy.
Yes. 只要干货. So in 干货, this is like something that's real, something that's tangible, right?
Yes, this is an interesting one because 干 means dry and 货 means goods. So if you dry something up, it means you get rid of the water. right? It's
kind of cute.
yeah. So if you say 这个太水了, this is too watery. 我要干货. I want the real stuff. I want the real deal. I want the water to go away and just leave me with the dry goods. 干货.
Leave me with the spices. give me the goods.
Give me the goods. 干货. So you can actually try to remember both 水 as in it's too wishy-washy and as 干货 as something that's real. That's the goodie.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we have the last sentence. 好的，那我回去修改一下。
This is okay. I'll go back and fix it, or I'll go back and do it again, maybe.
Make it better.
Make it better.
Yeah.
Revise it. So 好的 is normally okay, and then 那我. So this is I know 我 is I, but 那 is like then, right?
Then, yes.
And then 回去, this is to like return or to go back, right?
To go back.
And then 修改一下.
修改.
修改. So this is like to fix something or change
to
something,
fix
right?
something, to make it work because it's not working. It's too watery now.
And then 一下. This is I've heard this many times. Is this similar to like iban or idian or like a little bit?
Yes, it is a little bit, and it's similar to 一点.
Idian. Okay.
And here, 修改一下. 修改 is a word to fix, to modify, to make it better. 一下 a little bit. But you said 改一下. Actually, 改一下 works as well.
Okay.
So you can say 那我回去改一下. Then I'll go back and make some changes.
Oh, I always hear 一下 with 稍等一下.
稍等一下. Wait a little bit. So, yes. All right. So, do you have any questions?
At this point, I think this is pretty straightforward. You ready to give it a try?
All right, let's do it. 这是我写的节约用水活动的策划，请过目。
这也太水了，你改一改吧，只要干活。
好的，那我回去修改一下。Apparently, in this scenario, Tony is my boss, and he's not happy with the article I wrote, and he wanted me to make some changes. So, I'm saying that because it's actually important. These are the sentences you say to your employee. Don't really use this kind of language to describe something that's been handed to you from your boss. So let's make sure of that. Don't make mistakes that will cost you your job. I would not want that to happen.
Instead of saying 这也太水了, can I say 这是很不好?
You can say that. You're the boss. You can totally say that. All right. You're listening to Takeaway Chinese with myself, Niu Hongli, and Tony. We would love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts via email to learnchinese@cri.com.cn. Coming up next, let's learn more expressions about the Chinese character 水 and some tips about water saving. Don't go away, so you will take some Chinese away. Welcome back to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin with Tony. So, Tony, 水. Now we know two ways of using the character 水. One is water. One is...
Obviously lame. Something that's wishy-washy.
As lame.
Yeah.
Do you know some other ways to use it?
I feel like I've also heard it with 水饺.
Oh, 水饺.
Yeah, I mean, that works too, right? That means
works,
sleep,
that
doesn't
works.
it?
No, 睡觉 is sleep. 水饺 is dumpling.
Oh, wait, that sounds the same. Just say it again one more time.
That does not sound the same. Different tones.
Say
different tones.
Say it again.
Okay, 水饺.
水饺.
Yeah, that's the dumpling.
睡
觉.
睡觉. So the fourth tone on both of them.
Yes, fourth tone would be sleep.
Okay.
But okay, so we know dumpling is 饺子. And 水饺 means that instead of steam the dumplings, which is another way of cooking dumplings, you can also boil the dumpling.
Okay.
So boiling dumplings or having some broth for dumplings.
I'm laughing because I didn't mean that when I said that. I meant the sleep.
I know. But actually, I would say I have this little anecdote about that as well. Because in English, if you cannot sleep, you would count the lamps, right? You have the lamp running in your head and 1, 2, 3. In Chinese, people say we should have counted the dumplings. You should have dumplings jumping into the pot because 水饺 dumplings carry similar pronunciation with 睡觉 sleep. It'll help you sleep.
Oh, okay.
Isn't it funny?
Oh yeah, well I can, it helps me remember it a little bit more.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Actually, in the Chinese language, 水 carries a lot of different meanings, and the easiest way to understand how to use them is to put it in words. For example, 水平.
水平.
It means level. If we separate the two characters, 水 we know is water, and 平 actually means flat. You can imagine you're pouring water into any jar or any bottle, and no matter how much you tilt the container, water inside, as long as it stables, it will always be level and horizontal, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. I never really thought about that.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of water, you know?
Yeah, and now that I think about it, there are certain tools that I guess people use to make sure that something is in fact level, and there's water inside of it to make sure that it works.
Yes, so 水平, water flat, it can mean both level and horizontal. 水平.
Okay, and when you say level, you mean like different levels of people's ability.
Yes, different abilities and skills. You can say 我的汉语水平很好.
Oh, so your Chinese level is really good.
Yes, 水平. See, if you remember Chinese words in this way, it always paint a picture in your head, and it's easy to remember now, right?
Context, right? It's a very contextual language.
Very
right?
important. So 水平 level. And we've already talked about if you say something is too watery, you mean it's not
wishy-washy.
Wishy-washy.
Yeah.
And funny enough, there is another word, 水货.
水货 is fire, right?
火 is fire. 货 is goods.
Okay.
水货.
Water goods?
Water goods.
So the goods that are not that good, or what?
No, water goods actually here means smuggled goods.
Smuggled goods.
Yes, because
so it's not good.
Old times, if these goods are from legitimate sources, if they have properly gone through, I don't know, customs or something, they are imported goods, right?
Okay.
But if you want to smuggle some goods into the country, you want to, use some other ways. Probably from boats, from water. So 水货 in previous times actually means smuggled goods.
Okay.
And of course, because 水 also carries the meaning of wishy-washy, 水货 can also mean not very good goods.
Okay, a little shady. All right.
A little bit shady. And another way to use this word, I think it's a little bit like a slang or sophisticated way of using it. You can say 水很深.
水很深.
The water is very deep.
Okay.
You use it in a figurative way. There is this fairy tale or kid story about crossing a river. They say you were a little horse and you want to cross the river. You asked a giraffe about how deep the water is, and the giraffe said, "No, it's not deep. It's only to my calf. It's really easy for you to get across." And then you asked a squirrel, "How deep is the water?" And the squirrel said, No, it's just too deep. I almost drowned myself." But as a little horse, you decided to try it for yourself, and you realize it's not that deep, but it's also not that shallow. You have to always try things for yourself because things are different for different people, right? That was a funny little story I heard. But if you use it from a figurative speech, you would realize that it also means that when you're doing something, you should also do it for yourself because things can be different.
Right.
So here, if we use this 这件事情水很深, for this matter, this industry, the water is really deep. You're saying it's complicated. It's not easy for you to, get the hang of it that fast. And it's a little bit shadowy.
Sounds like it's not stable. It's all relative.
It's all relative.
Depends on the person.
Yes.
It's not set in stone.
It's not set in stone.
It's set in water.
And 水很深 here means the area you're jumping into can be a bit too complicated for you. figuratively.
Figuratively, huh?
Yes, so that's how we use 水 in a lot of different scenarios. I'm only giving some of the examples. There are more. So for our dear listeners, if you know some other ways of using the word 水 in the Chinese language, or you've seen some ways, but you don't quite understand, you can leave it in a comment area. Let us know what you think, and I can probably give you some reconfirm about your guessing about the character 水.
Yeah.
And on top of that, actually, water is very important to all of us, for sure, because we know that water is a very important resource in our lives.
Oh yeah, we all need it.
I think we say it is.
So a large amount of it is water that we can't drink, right? I think there's like over 90% of it is
actually
salt.
over 97% of it.
Yeah, it's salt water. So, and there's only a small amount that's drinkable for people,
Yes.
people and living organisms all over the world. Right?
Exactly.
So,
And we say it's renewable, it's recyclable, but we need to put in more effort in recycling the water, in cleaning the water, and of course in saving water.
recycling water just sounds so gross. I don't know.
Okay.
I know we got to do it, but it's just.
I know, but 可循环利用, that's recycle.
可是
可 is can, 循环 recycle.
循环.
Yes, 利用 would be use. 可
利用.
循环利用. And do you know there is a water day in the world?
Oh, there's a day for everything nowadays, so I'm not surprised.
Yes, there is a water day, and for China, we also have a water week. So, there is the water day in the world. That week would be the water week for China. So for 2021, since the water day would be March 22nd, China's water week falls on March 22nd to the 28th. And the United Nations announces the theme of World Water Day as valuing water. So 珍惜用水, valuing water, which is a fun thing we need to know for this episode, I think. As for China, we also have a lot of different approaches telling people the value of water and helping people protect the water resources and save water. So do you have any water saving tips in your life that you use?
Water saving tips. Like when you take a shower, there are there's shower heads that can cut off the water while you shower. Like when you're lathering yourself up with soap, you can turn off the water while you're doing that, and only use the water for obviously when you're rinsing off, or when you get into the shower and wet yourself. But I feel like a lot of people don't do that. They just kind of enjoy the hot water.
Oh, you reminded me of this approach in my university, because we live in the dorm and we have shower and bathrooms, of course.
Yeah.
And you have to scan the card for the water to start running.
Oh man.
And they give you 15 seconds per switch on. So if you switch it on, it will last for 15 seconds and you have to switch it on again. I think that is very effective, actually.
That's annoying. You have to swipe your card how many times while you take a shower?
You swipe your card and then the card is there. And you have the on button. You push the on button and the water goes for 15 seconds. You can push it again. It's really easy to push, but without pushing it, it's kind of like what you have said. You don't really have to have the water running the entire shower. But that helps you because you don't have to turn it off yourself. It turns it off for you.
I see. So you got 15 seconds to rinse yourself off. That could work.
Turn it back on.
Yeah.
If 15 seconds is not
but
enough.
It teaches you to be conscious of the amount of time that you're using. Another thing that I discovered when I came to Beijing was having these water heaters. And sometimes, depending on the size, if they're really small, you don't have a lot of hot water. So, and I'm in there, I'm not used to it. So I'm in there and I'm enjoying my shower. And after about 10 minutes, it starts getting cold. And I'm like, what's going on? And I make it hotter, and then it gets hot for a while, and then it reduces. So I think also these types of water heaters, some people, obviously myself,
like
I'm not a big fan of it, but it
helps.
does teach you to be more conscious about the amount of water that you're using.
Yes, and another point I like to make is that even though we use washing machine a lot in our households, actually there are still some delicates I would wash with my hands. So when I hand wash stuff, the final several rounds of rinsing water are basically clean, and I'll use that water to water my plants at home. So that is, I know it's small, it doesn't sound like much, but if you do it regularly, it actually helps.
Yeah, that's one thing. And I think they even sell washing machines now that are a bit more water conservant, I guess.
Yes.
So I think it's that's also something to keep in mind.
So hopefully we can all be a little bit more conscious when it comes to water saving.
Yeah.
And remember, no matter how regular or common you think it is, actually we cannot survive without it.
Yeah.
And keep that in mind. You can be a greener person in a way.
That's the plan. That's where we're all heading towards.
And that brings us to the end of today's Takeaway Chinese.